What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I hope everybody's having a great day. All right, some of you folks had asked me, hey Chris, can you check out the new photo from China's U-2 rover, which looks like a box or some kind of cube type thing in the background. We're going to have a real close look at it, and guess what? It's not what you think it is. It's even something even more bizarre. As usual, they lie, and they're taking cues from NASA. You'll see what I'm talking about. If you've been following this channel for quite a while, you know exactly what I mean by manipulation, blocking out objects, and making objects look very far away when clearly they are not. Let's just jump right into it. All right, you can see it right here. It is from space.com, and you can see China's U-2 rover spots cube-shaped mystery hut on far side of the moon. It's likely a large boulder excavated by an ancient lunar impact. And of course, image credit goes to the CNSA, our space. And now it says China's U-2 rover has spotted a mystery object on the horizon while working its way across Van Karman, a crater on the far side of the moon. Now, I'll let you guys get the page as usual. You can check it out. And you can see it's up close here. We can also see it's up close here. Is this what it appears to be? Absolutely not. What's really there is even more intriguing. Now, follow me here, folks. I know from experience, a lot of this gray you're seeing is manipulation. Once we get into this, you're going to see that little cube is much larger and not what it appears to be. You can see from the very bottom here, and I'll show you this in Photoshop, down here in the foreground, even though it's a very low-res photo, it has some detail. You go up a little farther, and it looks like it's completely distorted or whatever, and rightfully so because that's what they've done to it. Let's just jump right into Photoshop. Let me explain a little further. All right, here's the photo right here. Now, they want you to believe, let's go into the foreground here, that if you were standing right here, that you can literally walk all the way to the back, and you see this cube on the horizon. Is that a cube? No, nothing of the sort. First thing I look for, is there more lines to this said object? Well, we have the cube right here. Guess what, folks? Look at this. Just below, there is another straight line. Okay, and very faint on this side. Okay, so this object is much bigger. You say, well, how the heck can that be bigger? That doesn't make any sense. You're seeing through the ground? No. What we're seeing is a manipulation right here and right here put over it. All of this gray here, this is all manipulation. Now, here's another thing to take note of. You want to look for things that are white that are in all of this gray, okay? Again, right here, here, and very small pieces right here. And I mean very small. Right there, right here, and right here, okay? Notice the blocking that they're using, because this is, again, manipulation at its finest, okay? And they just put it all over everything in here, folks. You can even see a little bit of white right here. Okay, right here. So what we're going to do, a couple things. We're going to bring out the white as much as we can, and then we're going to bring out any lines that are underneath this manipulation. You know, people may say, well, that's compression artifacts. No, this is something they're overlaying on this photo. I promise you they are. I've looked at more of these photos than you can imagine, and this is so censored, it's actually sad and it's frustrating, to be honest with you, because everybody deserves to know what's really going on the moon, and they're doing their damnedest to hide what's really here. Okay, let's get into the next step. So I started to try to bring this out, and you can see a little bit more white in this area here. And again, we can see that it dropped down from here. This little cube, or whatever they call it here, on the side, on the top of this so-called land. Let me just show you something real quick. As I said earlier, this is right here. This is the cleanest or the best area for, it's subpar details, but either way, this is a real McCoy. As you start going over here, it's complete trash. In other words, let's say there's something sitting right here. I want to just make a little miniature box and whatever. It's sitting right here. By doing this and put all these little cubes and this distortion and censoring, it makes it look like there's nothing there. But in fact, it's literally in front of the rover. It's not way off in the distance. It's literally bits and pieces you're seeing from something much larger, right? And I think they made a mistake. They shouldn't have left that in the photo. So they're just coming up with anything. Anyway, let's press on. Okay, I brought the white all the way out, so you guys can see this. This object is much larger, but it doesn't stop there. There's another piece here, a little bit of white here, something here. Now, also take note of this. Notice how we have these straight pieces. Okay, let's keep going. Now, we want to burn through this manipulation so we can find what's underneath there. We want to find the lines that are being hidden, okay? So let's back out a little bit and keep going. Well, here we go. Check this out. Now, there's more to this thing and more to these white areas than originally seen. Notice these pieces right here. It looks to be another platform here. Okay, here. Looks like there's something down here. I'm not sure what to make of this. Okay, we have this white piece right here. And a couple of these objects sitting right here. What could these things possibly be? Now, let's back up. Does this thing look that far away now? These objects are sitting right on the ground in front of this rover. They're not way in the back. See that? See the difference? It's more like it's right in front, and they're using this here, all of this mess here, to make it look like it's a complete flat ground, going from here to here. What they're looking at is not gravel, taking dust samples, rock samples, whatever they claim that they're doing. No. What they're doing is they're hiding things they're really finding. They're finding ancient, intelligently made objects. And this is what we're seeing right here. Now, let me bring this way up. Let's check this out a little further. Okay. Now, what I did was basically took and squared this out, brought this way up. Okay. Now, check this out. You can start to see these objects a hair bit more. See this? See the white right here in the corner of this one here? You can still see the dark outline and partially white in that corner. Objects here, here, and here. Okay. Now, let's bring it out completely. Check this out. There are objects sitting right in front of this rover, and they're playing it off like there's nothing there. You can see, again, the bits and pieces of the white right here, and they're centering over this to block it out. But here it is. Here it is, folks. This stuff is not way off in the distance. It's literally in front of the rover. Also, take note of this area up here. Now, there's a very good possibility that what you're seeing here in the background is nothing more than camera pixelation or shiny areas like they like to claim is on the moon. Funny enough, these artifacts, quote unquote, are right behind these other objects that we're seeing right here that's sitting in front of the rover. So now, a couple questions. Are these things in the background, these artifacts, are they nothing more than artifacts or something that's been ghosted out that's much bigger on this Terminator line? You guys be the judge, as always. But there you go right there, folks. And there you are. Folks, I said this before. We know NASA's been censoring and manipulating their photos for years upon years. And now that China's up on the moon, they're doing the same thing. They're following suit. They're manipulating and censoring these things out. You can see that. If you've been studying these photos for quite a while, you know as well as I do, things are much larger and they're not that far off in the distance as they claim that they are. You can see it's much closer to the rover. So they're really looking at these things. They're checking them out. The cameras, you can bet, are absolutely high definition, probably 4K, even 8K. And they're transmitting these things back to their deep space network array, meaning antennas. And they're looking at these photos. And by the way, they're working hand in hand with NASA. So you know they're seeing these things in pristine condition, meaning ultimate details. What the public gets is reduced resolution. You folks know as well as I do that they must have cameras that are ungodly, meaning great resolution. They can blow these things up to God knows how big. Regardless of what they tell you might be the size of the camera, whether it be 1 pixel, 2 pixel, you can bet, like any digital camera, I can bring mine up to, and I've got a real old camera, it goes up to like 12 megs, right? But I can reduce it down to 1. So this way here, it's a lot smaller, and when you zoom in, what does it do? It breaks apart. Well, this is the reason why I blow these up in Photoshop, so that we can show, when we zoom in, these objects. Folks, tell me what you think. Drop your comments down below. I want to hear what you've got to say. And don't forget to like and share. It is always appreciated. And folks, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up so that YouTube will share it. Got more coming up. I got another part to that Triton moon. And we're going to have a more broader look at that photo. And really, really crazy objects that are sitting on that moon. So stay tuned for that. Also got some more Mars and more moon as well. Anyway, folks, as always, thanks for watching. Always appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.